Yes, we are
Oh,
live.
hello everyone. Welcome back to the 10th game week for FPL and our fourth episode of FPL Dosti, which is still at name transition. Until we transition, we are still going through a lot of testing. So yeah, but apart from that, let's talk quickly about how our previous game week has been, and let's start with Abhay. Abhay.
So, previous game week was saved a bit, got 77 points, slightly above the average, but still way below Atanu, who put kudos on captaining Salah. So, so now I have dropped from first to the second spot. So, so one of the main things for me to tackle this week is to basically get in Salah in my team. Have been late, but with the kind of fixtures coming up for Mohamed Salah, so it doesn't make sense to not to have him in the team. So that's why I'm going for a wild card this week,
Okay.
and it's been last couple of hours has been mostly juggling, like how to fit in Salah, Haaland, Watkins, Son, Trippier in your team and have at least have a playing 11 and point one or point two in the bank.
Hmm.
So that's been mostly it for me. Over to you, Abhishek.
Yeah, I had a very bad game week. I was even below the average. Salah completely killed off my game. Spurs boys completely smashed me on the last day of the game week, and I finished with 64 points and falling down like half a million rank overall. So yeah, again, pretty much the same course for me as you said. Wild card, find picking Salah and having a good strong 11, inclusive of all the medicine boys and apart from the current on form players like Watkins and Bowens. So yeah, those. So that is still, as I said, I'm sharing the similarity with you in that case, but I'm trying to fit if I can have a differential, something different apart, because so far it is completely general template that you're seeing on FPL Twitter or wherever. So it is completely template right now. So I'm thinking if I can, personalize this or make it a little bit different. But so far I'm out of ideas. Let me know if you have any good differential or if thinking of going with someone that I'm not
Harry
thinking. So
Maguire, Scott McTominay,
no,
Johnny
that's okay.
Evans.
Yeah.
Harry Maguire could actually be a good differential, I think,
Uh,
but not
his
at least for this game week for the next
Ha-
three.
have you smoked anything, Atanu?
Only time will tell.
anyway. Apart from that, Anu, what are your plans for this coming game week?
Um, so I scored around 104. I think this is my first 100 plus score this season. So I'm very happy
Only
with that. Only first.
First.
Um, Before taking the wild card, I was around 300, close to 300 million in rank, and now I'm currently around 300 something. So
No, you were
um,
3 million in rank. Now you're in 300K.
yeah,
Hmm.
so I'm very happy with the thing how my wildcard plans have gone. But now both of you guys and your wildcard coming into the picture, I might have to um, see how where my team is lacking. Uh, for this week, I think the only player that I actually want to get is Saka, but I don't have anything in the bank, and I have two free transfers, so I'll probably have to downgrade one player to get to Saka, or I might have to be. I probably wouldn't want to go with Martinelli, but if funds don't permit, then I'll probably have to be. It will
Martinelli is
have
an
to be
excellent option
satisfied.
according to me. I feel. Apart from his merits, which because he's injury prone, as long as he's fit, is a good option. Definitely, if you are looking someone to downgrade from Saka. Yeah.
Yeah. So if I went to Martinelli, then probably I would only use one free transfer. But if I think of getting Saka, then I'll probably have to sacrifice some areas, which would probably either be Udogi because he's yellow lined, and probably I'm not sure if he'll play or not. And even if he plays, the Spurs fixture are not that great in the coming weeks. So I might change so the initial plan was to go from Udogi to Simicas, save point two, and then uh, from Bruno to Saka was exactly the similar, but last night Saka
Price,
rose in price. Yeah.
price rise.
so, so now I somehow have to find 0.3 million to fit in Saka instead of Bruno. Um, and now having said that, I mean, even if I have Bruno for his next three fixtures are really, really amazing. So I don't mind having him, but uh, I'm sort of having a FOMO to not have Saka this week because I think they're going to do some serious damage to Sheffield United. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, Abe, do you mind sharing your team? Something to talk about? Like, what are you thinking, and what are the fixed positions? What are the doubtful positions?
Yeah, sure. But before that, do you want to talk about Bruno? Like, why are people even having a doubt whether to keep Bruno in the team or not?
Just because there are other better options available, isn't it?
I don't see a point in having Bruno Fernandes in the team. He hasn't been the main attacking threat. United have not been performing really great. Rashford is not clicking, and like I've seen, especially in the last game, Manchester United versus FC Copenhagen. What's happening is United are bit struggling to get the ball transition from the defensive part of the game, like goalkeeper to either of your center backs, and then from the center back, they're actually having a hard time getting their midfield or getting the wingers involved. So what's either happening consistently is either of player like Bruno or someone like Amrabat has to actually drop in, try to distribute the ball to the wing, probably Garnacho or Rashford, and then they are getting killed off by the any of the fullbacks. And Rashford has been not in a good form, or I would say a bad form compared to last year recently. So that's why it looks like United are having a bit of a transition problem, getting Bruno involved up into the final third of the game where he's really lethal. So, but it could be maybe this is the time when it's more of a punt, and that's why even if you see the goals, the people who are actually scoring the goals for Manchester United, they are not Bruno Fernandes, they are not Marcus Rashford, they are not Højlund. It's coming in from a corner or coming in from a guy like Scott McTominay, who I don't know, because Bruno is sitting so back, your Amrabat is defending back, then Scott McTominay is mostly coming to the D area. So that's why I'm thinking maybe Bruno is would not be a very good option. There are 5 or 10 better options than him, who may get you more points in terms of FPL and who may even cost you less money.
Yeah. Just to add to that as well, in Bruno criticism, maybe we can be completely. We'll be both wrong in couple of games. We'll be saying
Yeah,
sorry for that. But I feel not just Bruno criticism, it is about Manchester United. They are not scoring enough goals for me. In Premier League, so far out of 9 matches, they have only scored 11 goals. In that also, uh, pretty much is spread out. If it is United, which is we are seeing it's rare, then it's gonna be spread out among Holland or Rashford or this guy or now McTominay. And on top of that, if and where and just to give a perspective, where does this stand? Basically, out of 20 teams, 12 or 13 teams scored more goals than United. That tells you that they are not scoring enough goals when it comes to scoring. So yeah, that is one high level decision maker for me rather than what you said. Abeb, since you're a fan, you would know much intricate details as you explained. Like why Bruno is not working.
I think Manchester United is not working. So
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
um,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
I think the fact that he's on penalties and he plays 90 minutes and I wasn't watching any of the United matches. His underlying data is good. So probably that was the reason why I went for him. But I would either switch him to Saka or Martinelli this week. So yeah. It's only
What
the
about
fixed
Odegaard? Why not Odegaard?
Odegaard again. This season hasn't been as good as he was in the previous season.
Mm-hmm.
So it is probably one of the reason of the new players that have come in for Arsenal. And I've again
If
not watched matches of Arsenal to comment on that, but from a
I
FPL
last,
perspective, yeah.
sorry, complete your thought. I am sorry, cut you off. Yeah.
No, that's what I was saying. That I have not watched any match. I'm just watching the FPL data, and based on that, I don't think Odegaard is an option for me. I would rather go for either Saka or Martinelli.
So last year, watching Arsenal season, if you look at it, initial five, initial 10 game weeks, this guy, initial 6 7 game weeks, Martinelli had a very good time. Okay, he was scoring a lot of goals. Then after 5 6 game week, between 7 to 12 15 game weeks, Saka had a very good time. Then between 15 to 23 24 game weeks, Odegaard had a very good time and he was scoring a lot of goals. And then after Odegaard, then it came like after 23 24 game weeks, but till 38 game weeks, then they were simply coming patches like here and there that, sometime Odegaard is scoring, sometime Martinelli is scoring, sometime. And Saka was the most consistent among all these. But Odegaard had ultimately had a good time. So I'm just trying to think about that purple patch, that if it is about that kind of a purple patch, are we going to hit it at the right time? From that perspective, I was thinking about Odegaard since he has not been good enough and it is doing parallel from the last season. Is it a good time to ponder about him now? But yeah, these things are difficult to hit on the tail. Only guy like Gotham can hit that probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Saka's this season as well. Saka's been the most consistent. Rest, if you look at all the midfielders, the points are sort of distributed amongst
Yeah.
everyone, like Odegaard, Rice, Martinelli,
Agreed.
Havertz.
Agreed.
Everyone has some sort of points. So Saka stands out of them. So I think Saka is probably at least till the data changes. I think he is the better choice out of all the
100%
midfielders.
agree. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. So going ahead, let's quickly take a review of Abhay's wild card and my wild card, just so that we can
yeah.
tell our viewers like what are we thinking about, what positions we are thinking, the fixed position, what positions we don't want to, and what are your thought about it. So, and then Nathan will come back to you to see like what do you think, what are your ideas upon if someone is going through a wild card, then what do you think are the definite picks and which one to avoid.
Yeah.
Let's go again.
I think let's make Atanu the judge. So far, he has been the king of wildcards across different seasons.
Yeah,
While for me, usually wildcards don't work out for me.
yeah, yeah.
Because if I maybe go ahead in my old previous season, my wildcard team will definitely have less points than my previous team.
Dude,
Uh,
FPL doesn't work for me that way. So, so what can I say? So, still trying. Anyway, okay.
so the
Let's go ahead.
strategy, like which I used this for, was like I wanted to have some core players in my team,
Hmm.
and they were Muhammad Salah number one, as I am just taking the wildcard just to get him. Haaland and Watkins, because Watkins has been in a super purple patch. He's outscored Haaland. He has more points than him, and he just scores 8 points something.
Hmm.
So I believe he's a must-have. Heung-Min Son, because why not? He's a midfielder who is acting as a forward. Spurs are scoring goal. They are playing beautiful football. And then it's Trippier for me on the defense side because he is getting an assist every match for a defender. He is definitely expensive, but I believe he's like he can like get you 10 to 15 points like in an odd match, and that can basically give you a good boost in your mini leagues. So after all these players, now it's like a balancing act, mostly trying to get some of your, these are your like tier 1 players. Now you need to get some of the tier 2 players and tier 3 players and have at least zero point 0.1 or zero point 0.2 money in the bank. So far what team has been done for me is like Salah, Heung-min Son, Bowen, because his fixtures for West Ham are pretty good. Uh, West Ham have Everton, Brentford, Nottingham Forest, Burnley, and Crystal Palace next. So it's like good to have. And Bowen is also in like a, not like you can compare him to Son, but he is like pretty close to Son and Madison in terms of getting FPL points. So that's why I felt I should get him. Then I needed a cheap midfielder, and uh, so I was a bit confused between who to get. So the two options for me were, and I'm still undecided till now. It's between Scott McTominay and Cole Palmer. So Scott McTominay has been in a good form recently, but to be honest, I am not sure whether he would like continue, like his place in the squad since Mason Mount is also back. So it's like relay between Mason Mount, Ericsson, Scott McTominay, Casemiro, Amrabat, and Bruno will always be in the team. So that's one of the things which has like, I'm thinking whether to go with Scott McTominay or Cole Palmer, which is like a 5 million midfielder joined from Manchester City to Chelsea, and he has Brentford, Tottenham, Manchester City, Newcastle, and Brighton as fixtures. And one other interesting player which I was thinking about, although I and sorry, and one last player would be in this spot would be either Mitoma or Anthony Gordon. Mitoma because Brighton have also some really interesting fixtures coming up: Fulham, Everton, Sheffield United, Nottingham Forest, and then Chelsea. And Anthony Gordon is also playing really good. Like in his few matches, he has scored some really good goals, really impacted the game. He passes the eye test as well for Newcastle, player who's direct, who gets into the box, who tries to create something. So this is the dilemma for me so far. And in terms of defense, I have Van de Beek from Tottenham because he's the cheapest player to get from Spurs side. The other options were Romero and Udogi. Trippier because he's a must-have for me. Kufal from West Ham. I don't know how to pronounce the name. Gue from Crystal Palace, just because I was a bit lazy to figure out any other alternative player and just copied Atanu over there. And my last defender, I was initially going for Taylor from Burnley, who cost 3.9, but I thought maybe I'll go for Johnny Evans, who only costs 4, who has played his last 3 or 4 matches, playing every 90 minutes. So maybe if Manchester United's next 4 or 5 after City, the easy fixtures for United, if he starts in 1 or 2 of them, maybe it would be a good punt over there. And my goalkeeper so far have been Turner, Areola. To be honest, going for the cheapest option over here because I don't see a point in having a zero point 0.5 million expensive goalkeeper who can maybe just get you 1 or 1.5 odd extra points compared to your other option. And on the forward side, it has been Watkins and Haaland. And my third striker is Archer because he's the cheapest. And yeah, that's it from me. Over to you, Abhishek.
Yeah, it's kind of a template team again for me. So we're gonna share a lot of similarities. But let me try. Okay, so yeah, again, tier 1 players that you supposed to have in your team: Watkins, Alvarez. So far worked for me. He's been a great servant. Madison, and of course, because he's playing as a forward in free scoring Spurs side. Sorry, Madison and Son. Son is playing as a forward. Madison is a uh, behind him, more of a creative force. But I think so far Madison has been pretty much good in all the matches. Apart from 2 matches, 3 matches, he has blanked in 9 matches. Out of 9, in 3 matches he has blanked, and 6 matches he has provided returns. So I think he's a great value. And Bowen again, I think he's a must-have going forward, because again with Bowen, irrespective of his fixtures, which have been Chelsea, Brighton, Man City, Liverpool, Newcastle, Aston Villa, he has blanked in 3 fixtures only so far, which is a pretty great record. And he has some plum fixtures coming up, so I feel he is important to have in your team. And then of course Salah is there. So the formation that I'm trying to have is 3-5-2 as my playing 11, and the three, the first 11 playing defenders are Trippier, because we know how good he is. Soufal, because I noticed something that Soufal had 4 assists from game week 5, 6, 7, 8 regularly. He had 4 assists. He didn't keep clean sheet because in that duration he had Man City, Liverpool, Sheffield United, and Newcastle, but he did give assist against them. Against Aston Villa, yeah, he had a West Ham had a bad game, and they were completely played by Aston Villa. But yeah, so I feel 4 assists for 4.6 defender who are having some good fixtures coming up is must have. So that's why I kept Soufal as well in my team. So Soufal, and the other one is Cash, that is in the first playing 11, because we know how big returns he can give. The only caveat with Cash is he's playing for mid game weeks as well, like Soufal. But the problem is, again, he is bit pricey, 5.1, and I don't think he will be bombarding as much as forward as he was bombarding at the earlier part of the season. So I feel that can restrict his some attacking output, just because he has to contribute in midweeks as well as in the weekends. So that's why there can be some drop in attacking returns. So I'm interested to see his attacking returns and attacking underlying stats in from game weeks 5 or 6 onwards. Like, what are his stats looking like? So yeah, let me take a call on that. But yeah, so far it's Trippier, Cash, Soufal at the back for playing 11. Middle is Salah, Bowen, Saka, Son, Madison, Watkins, and Alvarez. In the bench, and of course, yeah, the goalkeeper is Areola for this coming game week, but the other goalkeeper is Turner. Ideal again, because West Ham has good fixtures coming up and he's not too pricey. So in my bench, I have the other defender is Van de Ven, who is, as Abhay said, the cheapest of them all. And I want to save money because I'm not sure about my team. How will this perform? And if I need to make transfers, I need to have enough money in my hand so that I can just do it in one go rather than doing it in 2 goes and spending and thinking about like who to remove in the other side. And then so the third or almost, what do you call it? The bench warmer is, and the forward is Archer, and the bench warmer defender is Branthwaite, because he's a 4 million Evertonian who, just because it's Sean Dyche, I feel should return some kind of defensive return going forward. But I'll not put my money on it. So this is my playing 15.
So 2 wildcards, 1 Haaland-less, 1 with Haaland. It's going to be interesting.
Who's the striker, Abhishek? Haaland and Alvarez.
No,
Watkins and Alvarez.
Watkins and Alvarez. Okay.
So Abhay, you have kept Haaland, right, in your wild card.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
Haaland
So
versus Saka, basically.
No, actually, we are often
no.
caught with this dilemma of thinking like Haaland. It's either Haaland versus someone, but it's actually in the entirety. It's 15 versus 15. So if
Hmm.
my Haaland list 15 can beat your with Haaland 15 or not, and I think last season, if you ask me, it would have been no, but this season it's so far it's been yes, and I have proved it in the last two game weeks as well. So far, I think it's not as dangerous as it was previous season. But if things change, we can obviously switch back to him.
But 15, so many people are common, right? So we'll just remove those. Basically, we have everyone common, Abhay, apart from you don't have Saka and you don't have
Madison,
Madison, right?
yeah,
So you don't have Saka, Madison, and you don't have Alba,
Alvarez,
right? But what I and in place of
I
those,
yeah.
have, you have maybe Palmer, Cole Palmer, and
Mitoma.
Mitoma and Haaland. Cole Palmer, Mitoma,
Haaland.
Haaland versus Alvarez, Madison, and Saka. So this is the what we are talking about in terms of who's gonna
and
perform better. Yeah,
Matty. You don't have Matty Cash as well, I guess.
No, I
yeah,
have
yeah.
moved
I have
Matty
cash
Cash.
as well. Yeah.
Hmm.
So I could get Matty Cash. So I just switched from Matty Cash to Wonder Bean just
Hmm.
to, you know, get a little bit more of better
Differential.
bench warmers.
Hmm.
Like I could have gone Matty Cash, defender Osula as 3.9, no, a 4.3 striker, and take
Hmm.
3.9 defender. But I went to Von de Bean, then bumped up to Archer for 4.5 and John Evans for 4 million
Hmm.
and 0.1, 2 million extra in bank.
Hmm. Yeah, and I have like about 1 million in the bank because, as I said, no Haaland gives you a lot of options, so that's what
Yeah.
I'm enjoying. But keeping Haaland will give you so much stress that I will not enjoy going for when I will be watching his matches.
But
Uh,
It's
but
good, right? Like it's become
what
more
is your
interesting than
contingency?
captaining Haaland every match.
Yeah, it is. So, Abhishek, what is your contingency in case things don't work and we need to go back to Haaland? How many points do you have to sacrifice to get him back?
mm, uh, 4. I'll have to take -4.
Okay, just get rid of Salah and get.
No, 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 not Salah. Probably I'll take. Yeah, actually, that's a good point because I have 1 million in the bank. Wait a second, let me do the transfer right now and see. So I have 1 million in the bank, and so I have 7.8. If I'll remove Saka, no, still it's not gonna work. So I'll have to do -8. I'll have to do -8 for Haaland. So it has to be a very fixed decision if I'm going with because that money is spread about, right? And so yeah,
Yeah. So
I'll have to do -8.
I have two contingencies in that case. I have one is obviously direct from Salah to Haaland, and that'll take -4. And that is why my plan is to keep as much as an extra transfer as possible going forward. And the third is taking a -8. So in both case, I would have to probably keep an extra free transfer every time up my alley so that I can, if things
Mm-hmm.
go south, then I can go forward with it.
Yeah, let's see. I mean, I'm expecting Haaland's hat trick in coming Bournemouth match, man. It's at home. Bournemouth they conceded 8 goals to Newcastle, and they have worst defense record.
Defense, yeah.
Bournemouth. So I am expecting in between, and that is sandwiched between Manchester United, Chelsea, and Liverpool. So Man City would be definitely playing their best football because these are the biggest matches. So I'm expecting he can score a hat trick, and those 34 points are gone. But as long as Salah is covering for him, and as long as Alvarez is taking some cut from that, and other players are chipping in, I'm fine for at least this game week. It's like this.
So
Other
so far
players
it
like Madison and Saka and Alvarez is taking a bit of cut from him. Yeah.
yeah. I think so far Alvarez is covering like 60% of the points Haaland is covering, or probably sometimes he's outscoring Haaland as well, like we saw in the last game week. So I think, yeah, if Haaland scores, definitely Alvarez gets some point from it. So
So
that's
yeah,
it.
that's the thinking again. It's the spread amount of money, so spreading the points. So we'll see. It's not a rocket science, so we will see. Yeah, yeah, Tanu. Time for vote.
I'm anyway, I am no Haaland this season, so um, I like Abhishek. I think Abhay is trying to fit too many players, too many good players, and the downside of that is he'll have to go to the price filter more often than he would like to be in probably every position. And even though he can fit in, it's again the 15 versus 15 question that comes in. Abhay, before the deadline, he needs to ask himself whether his 15 can beat Abhishek's 15 this week, because you both would be targeting to win this
For
game.
me, it's 11 versus 11.
Hmm.
And I
For
know,
me, it's
like,
just those 4 versus 4 because the rest of the players are common. So
Yeah.
and more, but again, we select 11, so that can be different out of 15. But one thing that I am liking is he's covering Madison's, you know, unavailability because of money with Mitoma, who has a really good fixtures coming up. Similarly, he's covering Saka's unavailability from uh, having little bit of lesser defense and little bit of here and there, so he doesn't need cash, or he'll take other things, and he can have Cole Palmer, who's again he's in good form. So he has those good options to cover those positions. It's not like he's gonna completely miss out on a good player if he's not. So that is interesting, and it is the right time, because if you are doing this strategy with Haaland and Salah, it is the right time, because good fixtures are coming up for Mitoma and other players which he's picking up.
yeah.
So it's
Plus,
interesting to see how
plus,
which way it will go.
Haaland is in a bad form. He's still the second most scoring forward. So
Sure.
I don't know.
hopefully
He's in a bad form. Why is a bad form?
like that's why
Just,
like people are like considering like in terms of FPL terms, like he's not justifying that compared
yeah,
to
he's
He's
last
not
not
year.
justifying 14
justifying his
million.
price. Yeah,
That's
that's
the only
true.
thing.
So just in those terms, and he is, I believe, I believe FPL is all up, or like not all about, but FPL explosiveness of a player is an interesting fact. Like compared to the average points per match, if you look upon like how volatile the player is or how explosive he is, then, and because we don't own a player for like 38 weeks, may not be true for Salah, Haaland, but that's where I feel like players like these can make a big difference. And one of these players is Mitoma. Like he, because people are questioning, because since Brighton is playing in Europe, Mitoma, if you see those matches, Mitoma is like focusing. De Zerbi is playing Mitoma more on the European matches, and then the next Premier League match, he's not even in the starting 11. He comes somewhere around after the half time. And in one of those matches, after the half time, within 1 minute, he dribbled across, he scored a goal. So that's why I
Hmm.
went for Mitoma, just for explosiveness and a good fixture. But let's see.
Hmm. No. It's I to definitely feel it's not the way you have set up your team and the way I have set up, which is non-Haaland general template. I feel the difference, in my opinion, is not that big. It's like 1920. It can go either way. Okay, and your team is equally good. And on some game weeks, your team will be beating the other teams uh, by a lot margin. So the only point is, over the 10-15 game weeks, how will that give you result? And again, it's a long game, so it's not even
Yeah,
10 weeks, because we will have transfer, we will make other transfer, this and that. Player will get injured, and
that's
double
true.
game will come. So Haaland's double game week is there in 16, which is again, not 16. After 16, somewhere around there, they have
19, I guess.
they have a double game week. So in that time, you will be enjoying, that no stress transfers.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But I think one of the things why I actually have Haaland, I'm saying justifying it by quoting all different reasons, but one of the fact is like I like him the most in Premier League. I have said that to Atanu, and this is not something which I usually recommend others. Is like you may like certain players, but it's not always good to have them in your team. But I am kind of making that mistake because like love the best position for me in football is basically a poacher, someone who fits the profile of Zlatan, who fits the profile of Haaland. So that's one of the things like I want to have in my
No,
team.
no doubt you are a Cristiano Ronaldo fan and he's a Messi fan.
Berbatov.
That is there.
I'm not a Cristiano Ronaldo fan. He played in Manchester United. I liked him when he played in Manchester United.
Okay. All right. Cool. So so far, let's see how this wildcard will translate into points and who will emerge victorious and who will cry again. I most likely I'll feel I'll be the one.
At least you'll have someone with you to cry this time.
Yeah. At least we'll be sharing the shoulders. So,
Yes.
so yeah. But thank you so much, guys, for be here on a quick notice and quickly covering FPL. We are sorry for our viewers. We are not able to cover the general football stuff, and we are not been doing predictions about the top six and no more sharing what is the result. But quickly, we'll be back to that as well. So that being said, thank you so much for joining us here.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, we'll see you guys again.
Cheers.
Thank you. Have a good one. Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.